Hey there, Ron. Good morning. It is Jay Obertans at Rorick Mazda. So I promise that there is a method to my madness here. So we're between a lot of trims, all of which are great trims. However, there's so many different levels between them that I think by making you a video and really thoroughly going over some of the differences, and especially differences in the sticker cost, might kind of overall help you sort of hone in on what might be the best option for you. So what we're going to do is start with the lowest trim level that you had sent over, which is actually this vehicle right here in front of me. This is a standard touring level. And it's important to say the word standard or base touring because, again, there's going to be trim levels between everything. So running over the features on this, you're obviously going to see that you have your standard 17-inch alloy wheels. Safety is a huge thing for Mazda, so bear in mind that this giant front emblem that's not even real, it's fake for a reason, and that camera up on the windshield, all of your collision avoidance systems like your lane keeping assist, your LED headlights with the automatic high and low beams, your blind spot monitoring, your backup camera, the cross alert, your radar cruise control with the new feature called Traffic Jam Assistant. It actually gives the car the ability to drive itself completely in stop and go traffic. And of course, all of your collision avoidance from pedestrian sensing, cyclist detection, and the emergency auto brake system are all standard. Now, kind of going down along the side, you'll see that all of the vehicles are going to have the advance key, which are these little buttons that you can press along the door to lock and unlock the vehicle here. They'll all have the privacy glass. And all of them, with the exception of the Reserve, which I'll get into in a second, are going to have the 2.5 naturally aspirated Skyactiv engine. And then, of course, you'll see your dual exhaust pipes there, and everything does go out through all-wheel drive. Now, what makes this vehicle unique, being the standard touring, is if I unlock it here, you're going to see that the design of Mazda overall is all of the same. They really have been trying to compare themselves to Acura, but they use a little bit more of a German approach. So you're going to notice that their whole cabin is very German. It's very clean. You have a lot of hand stitch along the interior and dash. Your screen is super large. This is new for 2021. It's 10.5 inches across, and it's all going to be controlled on a centralized joystick, to which you'll see right there behind the gear shifter. Now, seating surfaces, you're going to notice that these are 50-50. This is a synthetic leather. It's important to say synthetic leather. It's leatherette, and a synthetic micro suede down the center. Now, the driver's seat has 6-way power, and the passenger seat is a manual adjustment. However, both seats are heated. So if I hop in here really quick, you'll see that you still are going to have things like dual climate system. You'll see your heated seats down here. Obviously, controls for your cruise control, and then everything is going to kind of be buried up in the screen, all controlled on this joystick down here. Now, even for further amenities for maybe backseat passengers or whatnot, let me click the unlock button really quick just so we can take a look at the back seat here. You'll see that you are going to have vents going to the rear, you have your cup holders, and a little hidden trick is there are USB ports that they hid back here in the console for your rear occupants. Now, if I go to the trunk, luckily all CX-5s are going to be the same space. So for instance, what you see here is what everyone, whether it is this trim or up to a Reserve, is going to have. So I'm going to close this lift gate really quickly. Now you're going to kind of notice I closed the lift gate. So before we get to a Carbon, which you're going to see here, I want to go over the step in between, which is called the SV package. This is a new package for 2021 and was brought to life because the CX-30 sales cut into the CX-5 too much. So they redid the most popular trim level that was called a preferred package and now call it the SV, which stands for super value. So you're going to notice that these two cars look damn identical. There's not a damns of difference on the exterior. But you are going to have a significant amount of more features packed into this. This will also bring its net price to about $400 less than a Carbon. So let's go over this really quick. Your standard touring levels are going to have a price, just a standard one. Obviously, we're going to sort of eliminate red just for the time being because red does add $600 to the MSRP. But let's just say that we were all on base colors like black. A standard touring is going to be exactly $30,000. For $31,000, you can get an SV touring. Now, if we're wondering, well, okay, why am I spending $1,000 more on an SV? So here's why. One, if I open up the interior here, you're now going to see this. Granted, this interior is the lighter, but gone is that half suede, sort of half fake leather I had showed in this vehicle. It is now replaced by full leather seating. It is now 8-way power with power lumbar and 2-way driver memory. You also pick up a power seat on the passenger side. You'll notice that you pick up a sunroof in this trim. You now go to Bose speakers, as well as the power liftgate. So let me go ahead and click this button really quick. And then now you'll see the liftgate open and closes automatically. And you'll notice around the rear view mirror, it is now auto dimming with the HomeLink system. So to recap, if we get an SV Touring, then you are going to pick up the Bose stereo, the sunroof, the power liftgate, the auto dimming mirror with HomeLink, power seats on both sides, more power seat adjustments for the driver, and 2-way memory is exactly what you get in the SV package. Now, the reason why I put a lot of emphasis on this trim level, because it's important to think of the carbon trim as simply an SV package with an appearance kit, because all of the carbon trim is an SV package with a different wheel and different grille and different colors. Notice I said grille, colors, and wheels, neither of which any features or technology difference. So when you go up to a carbon, essentially the $500 bump over an SV package buys you the 19-inch wheels, which are going to be blacked out. They are going to buy you the special paint, which is polymetal mica. It is only available on carbon trims. Unfortunately, you cannot get it in any other trim line. And if we walk up front and go to the grille here, I just don't want to step on ice and perfect. You're going to notice these are going to be the standard grills on the CX-5s, and this is the carbon. So the carbon has sort of more vertical slats, where this is going to have a little bit more of a honeycomb mesh. So to recap, your $30,000 sticker price for a base Touring, your $31,000 sticker price for a Touring SV, and your $31,500 sticker price for the carbon, which again is really this vehicle with different wheels, a particular paint, and a different grille is what you're paying for. Now you could jump up into the Reserve, and the difference between a carbon and a Reserve is going to be pretty significant. You're looking at almost $4,500, and that's because with the Reserve trim, you're jumping up into the turbo engine. So something to bear in mind is the carbon that you had requested has the standard 2.5 engine, which is the same as the base Touring, the SV Touring, and so forth. There is a trim level in between called the Grand Touring Premium. And to give you an example, the Grand Touring Premium is simply a Grand Touring Reserve trim level without the turbo. So for instance, let me find one here on the lot really quickly, because if I go over that vehicle, a Reserve is simple, because if I plopped a turbo under the hood, it's now a Reserve trim. And a lot of people don't know that, but that's the only difference. So this particular trim here is a Grand Touring Premium. Now it is going to sticker price right around $34,700. So essentially it's about $3,000 more than a carbon. So if you're asking yourself, what the hell am I getting for $3,000 above a carbon trim? And I'm going to go over that really quickly. One is going to be your fancier design LED lights. You'll kind of see those bars and halos up in the headlight. Now the addition of fog lights. You'll see these have the same wheels as the carbon, but they are not the blacked out version. They're just the regular version. The side mirrors being one of them, because if I lock the car, you're going to see that those side mirrors tuck in. And if I unlock the vehicle, you're going to see that those side mirrors now fold out. In terms of engine, this is going to be your standard 2.5 liter Sky Active. Again, this is not the turbo. So opening up the cabin here, you'll see that Grand Tourings, they just zhuzh up the interior a little bit. You just have a little bit more of bright work. Honestly, it's a very, very minor difference. And if you get the black interior, it's negligible. You'll never notice it. So if I hop in here, you're going to see that this trim is going to add a digital speedometer in the middle. It's also going to add things like cooled seats. It's going to add a heated steering wheel. you'll notice up here I have a heads-up display now. And if I go into the rear seat, you're going to see that where I showed on that Touring, the USB ports and the cup holders, that now they add heated seat buttons back here. So if you wanted the same engine, the 2.5 Skyactiv no turbo, it would cost you $3,000 more than the Carbon, but it would give you things like the heads-up display, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, heated back seats, heated wiper blades, power folding side mirrors, the fancier kind of LED designed lights, and so forth. Now, right over here is a Reserve. And simply, the vehicle that I had just showed you right here, a Reserve is this vehicle, and then I just slap a turbo under the engine, charge $1,800 more, and it's a turbo. So let's recap really quickly. We have a standard Touring level that is going to be right around $30,000. We have a Touring with the SV package that gives us the full leather, the more adjustments in memory, the Bose stereo, sunroof, power liftgate, home link, and so forth for $1,000 more. If we want this vehicle with an appearance kit, we pay $500 more, around $31,500 for a Carbon trim. If we want the turbo, we have to go all the way up to nearly $37,000 into a Grand Touring Reserve. But for right around $35,000, we can still get a Grand Touring Reserve without the turbo engine in a trim level that is called the Grand Touring with the optional premium package. So I really hope that this video kind of helps clarify some of those trims, because even though everything you're looking at is really great, it gets a little cloudy because there's so many different variants in finding the right one. So hopefully, again, that this video helps clarify a lot of those differences and allows you to kind of look into what your needs are, your price point, to pick the best one, that I'm able to offer you not only a couple options, but of course pricing points as well. Luckily, I've worked in this business long enough that though I understand Rorick's customer service is top-notch, we still are very competitive and have to be in pricing, and that's something that I certainly promise you that I will be. So I look forward to hearing back, Ron, and hope you're having a wonderful day.